Hi everybody! In this video I'm going to be talking about string formatting. String formatting is going to be useful when you are working on program 1. So if I scroll down and take a look at the grading, you'll notice that you get 5 points for displaying the GPA with exactly 2 digits to the right of the decimal every time. And you can do this using the .format method for strings. And so I guess first let's just show what I mean by what we want and what we don't want. I'm going to open up idle. So let's say at the end of my GPA calculator program I have calculated some GPA, and say it's like 5, that would be a lot. Let's say it's 3.1 2, 3, 4, 5 is what the computation came out to. So when we print this GPA, let's see what we get. We get all of these values after the decimal, but what we want to see when we print this is just 3.12, right? We don't want all of those extra things after the decimal. And what if our GPA divided evenly, like we got exactly 3? Oops. Let's see. Then we would just print 3. Even if this GPA was a float, we wouldn't get the right number of decimals. So let me print GPA here. So I wouldn't want 3.0, I would want 3.00 in this case. So the way that we're going to do this is using string formatting. And so let me go over to the link that is on the page for program 1. So to learn more about formatted output, take a look at this page, and we're going to use the .format method, not this % method. So the basic idea here is that if you put these curly braces inside a string, these are sort of placeholders for different objects that you can pass in here. So in this example, let's actually just paste it over to idle. So in this example, this is a placeholder that's going to be filled by the first thing we pass in, and this placeholder is going to be filled by the second thing. Oops. I just pressed the backslash there on accident, so let's just try it again. Yeah. And there can be things in the middle. 1 comes before 2, and we fill that in. Over here you can see that we can also pass in indices if we want to reorder what we pass in over here. So let's take a look at what this does. Paste it in. So before we would put 1, 2, but because these indices are telling us to take what's in the 1 index and what first and what's in the 0 index second, we should see 2, 1. Yeah. And we start at, and 0 means this first one here because Python is 0 based, so it always starts at 0 when it's counting. Let's see, just a test, I don't even know, can I use the same index twice? I'm curious. Yes, I can. So we can see that if I ask for the thing in the 1 index place, followed by the thing in the 1 index place, then I'll just print 2 twice. Okay, well, we haven't yet seen how we can use this to get us just the right number of digits after the decimal, but I will point out that if you scroll, you'll just see nice things that you can do here. One thing I'll note is you can use string format to pad outputs, which is going to might be useful in a future lab or program. But eventually we'll get to numbers. And we see that here this is telling us how to pad numbers, but what we want to do is we want to do this thing where we only have 2 characters after the decimal point. And the way you do that, so we already saw that if we put a number in here, we can indicate which of our inputs we want to go where. So we could do something like 0, that's the first thing. It's not necessary, but we could have a 0. Then we would separate that with a colon, and here we can start instructing Python on how we want to format whatever is in the 0th position that we pass in. So let's say pi equals, and let's say I want to display exactly 3 digits after the decimal point in whatever I pass in to the format method. I'm going to do 3.14159. So there are certainly more than 3 digits after the decimal point here, and let's see if we still get what we want. And we did. So we could have also omitted that 0. I only put it in there as sort of a reminder that you need this colon in here first. And so let's see if that works. Yep. So the syntax here is to use the curly braces. This F is because this is a float that we're passing in, and this is like, okay, you're getting a float, now do the instructions that 0.3 means for floats. And what does 0.3 mean for floats? It means display 3 digits after the decimal place. So you should be able to use something like this for your program 1. And I think this is also used in the base code that you're given for Lab 2, so you can also take a look at that if you still need some more help. Or always ask on the Slack. Alright, thanks everybody!